Imagine waking up one morning, stepping outside, and finding a strange object waiting for you. Not something you dropped, not something blown in by the wind, a shiny coin, a polished pebble, a bright piece of glass, perhaps even a small piece of jewelry. At first you might assume it's a coincidence, but then it happens again and again. The objects keep appearing, always in places where you'll notice them. It sounds like the beginning of a mystery novel, yet countless people around the world claim this has happened to them. Even stranger, many believe they know exactly who left the gifts. Not a neighbor, not a friend, a bird. For centuries, stories have circulated about crows, ravens, magpies, and other birds leaving objects for humans. Most people dismiss these stories as wishful thinking or simple coincidence. After all, why would a wild animal give something away? Human beings exchange gifts because gifts carry meaning. They express gratitude, strengthen relationships, or communicate intentions. But birds aren't supposed to think that way. At least, that's what scientists once believed. Today, however, a growing body of research is forcing us to reconsider what birds are truly capable of. The deeper scientists look into the minds of certain birds, the more unsettling the discovery becomes. These animals may understand far more about us than we ever imagined. For much of history, birds were considered little more than instinct-driven creatures. Small brains supposedly meant limited intelligence. Mammals occupied the top tier of cognition, while birds were viewed as biological machines programmed by evolution. Then, researchers began conducting experiments that challenged those assumptions. The results were astonishing. Certain bird species demonstrated problem-solving abilities that rivaled some primates. They could plan ahead, solve puzzles, use tools, remember complex information, and adapt to changing environments with remarkable flexibility. Suddenly, the old assumptions began to crumble. Among the most intelligent birds on Earth are members of the Corvid family, which includes crows, ravens, rooks, jackdaws, and magpies. These birds possess cognitive abilities so advanced that scientists often compare them to chimpanzees. In laboratory experiments, New Caledonian crows have demonstrated the ability to manufacture tools from raw materials. They can shape twigs into hooks, modify objects for specific tasks, and solve multi-step problems that require understanding cause and effect. Some experiments have even shown crows solving puzzles that involve sequential actions, meaning they must plan several moves ahead before reaching a reward. Yet perhaps the most remarkable discoveries haven't come from laboratories at all. They've come from studying wild birds living alongside humans. In cities across the world, crows have become masters of adaptation. They learn traffic patterns, recognize dangerous roads, identify food sources, and exploit human behavior in ways that seem almost impossible for a bird. In parts of Japan, crows have been observed placing hard nuts in busy intersections. They wait for cars to drive over them and crack the shells, then retrieve the food when traffic stops. The birds aren't merely reacting to stimuli, they are using human infrastructure as a tool. As impressive as these behaviors are, they become even more extraordinary when researchers examine how birds interact with individual people. One of the most famous studies on crow intelligence involved human facial recognition. Researchers captured and tagged wild crows while wearing specific masks. Years later, the same masks triggered alarm calls from birds that had witnessed the original capture. Even more astonishing, younger crows that had never experienced the event themselves also reacted negatively. The information had spread socially through the population. The birds were not only remembering human faces, they were teaching other birds which humans should be avoided. Think about what that means. To a crow, humans are not faceless members of a species. We are individuals. Some are dangerous, some are harmless, some are reliable sources of food, and some may eventually become something far more interesting. One of the most famous examples emerged from Seattle, where a young girl and her family regularly fed local crows. Over time, the birds began leaving objects behind: buttons, beads, pieces of metal, tiny decorative items. The collection grew year after year until it contained dozens of strange treasures. Similar stories have surfaced around the world. People who consistently interact with crows sometimes report receiving objects that appear intentionally delivered. Scientists remain cautious when interpreting such behavior because assigning human motivations to animals can be misleading. Yet the behavior itself is real. The birds are collecting objects, transporting them, and depositing them near specific humans. The question is why? To answer that question, we need to understand how Corvid societies function. Crows and ravens do not live isolated lives. They exist within complex social networks. Family groups cooperate, share information, and maintain relationships over long periods. Young birds learn from older birds. Adults recognize one another and remember previous interactions. Their social lives are surprisingly sophisticated. Within these social systems, reciprocity often plays an important role. Individuals remember who has helped them and who has not. Positive interactions influence future behavior. Now, imagine a crow encountering a human who repeatedly provides food without posing a threat. Day after day, the bird experiences positive outcomes associated with the same individual. Over time, that person becomes a predictable part of the crow's environment. The bird learns their face, their schedule, and their behavior. Eventually, the human may occupy a unique place within the crow's social understanding of the world. Not a crow, not a family member, but something recognized, remembered, and associated with positive experiences. Scientists studying animal cognition often emphasize that intelligent animals build mental models of their surroundings. They categorize individuals, predict outcomes, and adjust behavior based on past experiences. For a crow, a trusted human may become one of those categories. Once that happens, behaviors that normally occur within crow social systems could potentially extend across species boundaries. Another clue comes from studies involving exchange behavior. Researchers have shown that some birds can learn simple trading systems. They understand that certain objects can be exchanged for rewards. Once a bird learns this concept, carrying objects to a human may become associated with previous successful interactions. The bird offers something. The human responds positively. The behavior becomes reinforced. Over time, what appears to be a gift may emerge from a complex combination of learning, social bonding, curiosity, and reciprocity. Then there is the question of the objects themselves. Popular culture often portrays crows and magpies as creatures obsessed with shiny things. The reality is more complicated. Scientific studies suggest these birds are often cautious around unfamiliar objects. However, intelligent animals are naturally curious. They investigate novel items, explore their environment, and collect information. A colorful bead or metallic fragment may attract attention simply because it stands out. To the bird, the object might be interesting. To the human, it becomes meaningful. This gap in interpretation is where the mystery truly begins. Humans naturally assign symbolic value to gifts. We see intention, gratitude, and emotional significance. The bird may be operating under entirely different motivations. Yet even if the bird does not understand gifts the way humans do, the behavior still reflects something remarkable. It reveals a mind capable of recognizing individuals, remembering interactions, and modifying behavior accordingly. Ravens push these boundaries even further. Often described as the most intelligent birds on Earth, ravens demonstrate extraordinary cognitive flexibility. Research suggests they can plan for future events, remember social relationships, and solve complex problems requiring advanced reasoning. Some experiments indicate that ravens can account for what another individual can see or know, a cognitive skill once believed to be uniquely human. Such abilities suggest an internal world far richer than anyone suspected a few decades ago. Magpies add another fascinating chapter to the story. In one of the most famous animal cognition experiments ever conducted, magpies demonstrated self-recognition using mirrors. This is an ability shared by only a handful of species, including humans, great apes, dolphins, and elephants. Self-recognition suggests a level of awareness that few animals possess. The fact that a bird can pass such a test challenges our assumptions about intelligence itself. As researchers continue studying avian cognition, another controversial topic has emerged: emotion. For much of modern science, discussions about animal emotions were avoided because emotions are difficult to measure objectively. Today, however, evidence increasingly suggests that many animals experience emotional states that influence behavior. Birds form long-term pair bonds. They show signs of distress when companions disappear. They display behaviors consistent with affection, curiosity, fear, excitement, and social attachment. While these experiences may not mirror human emotions exactly, they indicate lives that are far more emotionally complex than previously assumed. This matters because relationships are rarely built on intelligence alone. Relationships require recognition, memory, and repeated interaction. When humans consistently provide food, safety, or positive experiences, birds may develop associations that extend beyond simple conditioning. The individual becomes important, not necessarily in the way another bird might be important, but important nonetheless. Perhaps that is why so many stories about bird gifts share a common pattern. The gifts rarely appear immediately. They emerge after months or even years of repeated interaction. The timing suggests a gradual process. Recognition becomes familiarity. Familiarity becomes trust. Trust changes behavior. Trust is one of the most valuable resources in the natural world. Every wild animal lives in an environment filled with risk. Predators, disease, competition, and environmental challenges create constant pressure. Humans often rank among the greatest dangers. For a wild bird to repeatedly approach a specific person requires overcoming powerful instincts designed to ensure survival. The fact that some birds do so willingly speaks volumes about their capacity for learning and adaptation. In many ways, modern cities have become enormous experiments in bird intelligence. Urban birds must navigate environments unlike anything their ancestors encountered. Buildings replace cliffs, roads replace rivers, human behavior becomes a permanent feature of the landscape. Species capable of understanding and adapting to these changes thrive. Those unable to adapt struggle. The success of crows, ravens, and magpies in urban environments reflects their extraordinary ability to learn. Every day, while humans rush through routines, these birds are watching. They observe schedules, they monitor behavior, they identify opportunities. The crow perched on a streetlight may recognize dozens of individual humans. The raven soaring above a hiking trail may remember encounters from years earlier. Their world intersects with ours far more often than we realize. That realization may be the most important lesson hidden within stories of bird gifts. Whether the objects are intended as gifts in the human sense is almost beside the point. The behavior reveals something much more profound. It reveals that these birds possess minds capable of forming lasting impressions of the people around them. They are not merely reacting to the world, they are interpreting it. The next time you see a crow watching from a rooftop or a raven gliding overhead, consider the possibility that you're being observed by one of the most intelligent animals on Earth. An animal that can recognize faces, remember experiences, solve problems, teach others, and adapt to changing circumstances with remarkable sophistication. An animal whose understanding of the world may be far deeper than appearances suggest. And if one day you discover a strange object waiting outside your door, a polished stone, a bottle cap, or a tiny piece of metal glinting in the sunlight, you might pause before dismissing it as coincidence. Somewhere nearby, a bird may be watching. A bird that remembers you. A bird that has been learning about you for far longer than you realize. And in its own mysterious way, it may be attempting something that humans once believed impossible, a connection across the boundary between species, expressed not through words but through a simple object left behind as evidence that someone or something was thinking about you.